Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. The Nigerian Army retires several senior officers for their roles in the 2015 general elections and other service exigencies. 10 terrorists are killed in a clampdown by Operation Lafia Dole, just as the military begins training of its junior officers in counter-terrorism operations. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode appoints 57 sole administrators for the state local councils, pending the conduct of elections at the councils. And at least 12 people are killed in a suicide bomb attack on a suburb of Damascus, which is home to Syria's holiest Shiite shrine. Do remember that all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from the respective stores. We encourage you to use the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos you would like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Now to some of the pictures you sent to our Eyewitness portal. First is this one from Farm Road area of Ngboba in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, showing a flooded road. Our Eyewitness reporter wants the government to pay attention to this. It's followed by this picture of a bad road in Ifite area of Oka, Anambra State capital. Our Eyewitness reporter is asking the government to fix it. We also have this picture from Zamfara Sokoto Way in Sokoto State, showing a passenger hanging on the vehicle window. Our Eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety Corps to apprehend such offenders. This picture is of an untarred road from Eden North in Osun State. Our Eyewitness reporter wants the government to rehabilitate this road. And finally is this video from Alhaji Oluwatoyin Street, Alakmere area of Ketu in Lagos State, showing a dilapidated road. Our Eyewitness reporter is asking the government to fix it. Well, thank you for sending in those pictures and video, and urge you to keep them coming. We're staying in Lagos State, and the governor, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, has approved the appointment of 57 new sole administrators to oversee the 20 local governments and 37 local council development areas in the state. The appointment is pending the conduct of elections at the councils. In a statement issued by the secretary to the state government, Mr. Tunji Bello, Governor Ambode would on Monday, June 13, swear in the new appointees. Governor Ambode had on Thursday approved the dissolution of caretaker committees, and this followed the resolution of the Lagos State House of Assembly relieving the executive secretaries of the 57 local government councils and local council development areas of their responsibilities. Miners and rights activists in Lagos State have protested the stop work order given by the Lagos State government, describing it as illegal. Now, the Lagos State government says mining activities is fast degrading the environment and needs to be streamlined. The miners, who were led by a group of activists, said mining remains the prerogative of the federal government and appealed to the state government to rescind the order.
Sand mining is a means that is used to extract sand, mainly through an open pit, but sometimes sand is also mined from beaches and dredged from riverbeds. It's usually added to cement to make concrete. Sand mining also involves the extraction of minerals like titanium and zirconium. These minerals typically occur combined with ordinary sand, which is dug up and eventually separated. Here in Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria, sand mining is a thriving business. But according to this group of protesters, this business has come under threat since January 2016, when the Lagos State government issued a stop work order to miners.
We are saying that such order from a state is illegal, is unknown to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, bearing in mind that mining business is strictly a federal issue. and we are appealing to Lagos State government to resign such order, whereby more than 5,000 legitimate sand miners in Lagos State has been stopped from doing their legitimate business and thereby causing them a hardship.
For the commissioner in charge of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, who refused to appear on camera, he said the activities of sand miners is degrading the environment and it's time to enforce order in their activities, hence the 6-month-old stop work directive. But the protesters would have none of this.
We, as an old miner, we are just like a licensed, expired. What do we need to do? You need to do renewal. But today, they still ask the old miners to come and obtain a fresh application form when we are not a new applicant.
According to the state government, every miner is required to be registered and be licensed so government can earn its due revenue from their activities.
This week, Nigeria's legislative arm of government marked its first year in office, just as the executive did at the end of May. For the lawmakers in the 8th Assembly, it has been an eventful year. For a review of the performance of the legislature, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a one-time Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly and two-time member of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Oloronimbe Mamora. Good evening, Senator, and thank you for joining us in the news at 10.
Thank you for inviting me. Good evening.
A lot has been said about the last 1 year of the National Assembly. For you, how would you assess the 1 year for the 8th National Assembly?
Well, I think the National Assembly has not done badly. I will say that the performance has been fair enough. Taking on board the crisis of emergence of the leadership of both houses. And of course, that took its toll on the activities of the National Assembly, expectedly. But in spite of all that, I think taking on board all the modalities, lawmaking, representation, oversight, legitimizing role, consensus building, policy incubation, and all that. Because these are all the things that you need to look at before giving an assessment or doing an assessment of the performance of the National Assembly or any legislative house.
But then some Nigerians have said that government under this administration has been slow. Could the lawmakers possibly have changed this perception? And if they could, how?
Well, I think there's a limit to what the legislative house can do as an arm of government. Because sitting at the driver's seat, when you talk of government, is the executive. So, if at the state level you're looking at the governor, at the federal level you're looking at Mr. President. And because the executive is the implementer of policies, implementer of laws, not the legislature. And all the legislature needs to do is to work in tandem, in synergy with the executive. So usually it will be the pace of governance or the pace of what happens within a given point in time is as dictated by the executive. But of course, the supportive role will always be there. But that is not to say that at times you will not require what I call legislative activism. That is, it's like going a little bit beyond what is expected.
Yeah, because, Nigerians would have expected that this would have picked up a little bit. So, taking a look at the speech made by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Dugara, that the House received a total of 685 bills in its first year. What Nigerians have been asking, how many have been passed or will be passed?
Well, you see, I think it's erroneous to assess the performance of a legislative house strictly based on the number of bills passed. I don't think it's right. You see, because just as I mentioned earlier on, in fact, for me, the most important role of a legislator is representation. So you want to look at representation, and that's why members come up with motions based on things, they have observed, or based on, issues, or happenings in their constituencies, either individually or collectively. So you have representation, you have lawmaking, you have oversight, you have legitimizing role, confirmation of our appointments and all that. You have policy incubation, you have some consensus building. These are the major roles, and you have to take everything together. If you're just looking at lawmaking alone, I don't think it works that way.
Well, Senator, you have to remember, sorry to cut you here, that this last year was a very challenging year for Nigerians.
Yeah.
And they looked at it that based on how the situation was, laws should have been passed that would sort of make doing business in Nigeria very easy, sort of improve the economy and improve the lives of Nigerians.
Yes, I agree. But don't forget again that the major role of government anywhere is to create the enabling environment. The environment that will be conducive for business, the environment that will be conducive for interaction, one way or the other. The environment that will be conducive even for legal aspect of business practice and what, everything put together. And in so doing, again, it's not just the issue of law. You're talking of security as well. You cannot do business in an insecure environment. So taking care of the security of the environment is also critical. Again, if you look at the issue of power is not necessarily a question of the laws you put in place, because you already have certain laws in place. Whether you now go on to amend or you even repeal and all that. But you look at the insurgency issue, you look at the Niger Delta, Avengers, whatever. These are all the things that you need to take on board in order to, you need to check these situations in order to create that conducive environment. And of course, you also want to look at the existing laws, not necessarily enacting new ones. There are some laws that are obsolete. There are laws that require amendment. There are laws that require repeal completely. So you take all this together. So it's not just a question of sending in bills. And of course, one of the problems which I have observed in the system is that the legislators, they have been made to believe that it's the number of bills sent to the House that will determine the efficiency. Not necessarily so, no. So many bills are just being sent to the House that are not even relevant to the situation on ground. So we should not restrict ourselves in assessing the performance of the legislature. We should not restrict ourselves to just the issue of laws.
Well, for you, Senator Mamora, do you think that party affairs kind of affected as well the number of bills that were deliberated on for the National Assembly?
Well, again, don't forget that the legislature needs to work in synergy with the executive. The executive has its priorities as being, when you say government, oftentimes we just look at the executive. Certain commitments have been made, certain promises made, and so the bills that will be sent in by the executive to the legislature will naturally take priority and will be in tandem with the promises made to the people. So any other thing will take the back burner, if you like. Any other bill that is not considered to be priority, that is in terms of being in tandem with the promises made to the people, will be treated secondarily. So it will not have primary attention. But what the government has promised to do, which, for example, just a few weeks back, Mr. President sent in bills regarding to curb issues of corruption. So this will take priority over any other bills because the legislature will be working in tandem or in synergy with the executive.
So, Senator Mamora, another 365 days has started counting for the 8th National Assembly. For you, what are you looking out for well, already you seem to have made your stance that Nigerians should not be looking out so much for the number of laws or policies that are passed, but more for better representation.
Yes, representation, and of course, and I think the present National Assembly has done a lot of that, because always bringing into focus, into the front burner, the issues of insecurity, the issues of employment for particularly youth employment, and then the issue of power, name it, everything. Of course, don't forget again now, the government is talking of social security, which goes a long way. And of course, I know the National Assembly has been saying a lot about this. And of course, we necessarily need to pass maybe some backup legislation to effect this safety net.
Senator Mamora, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
When the News at 10 returns, the Abia State government moves to eradicate the menace of ghost workers, plus the latest from the world of business. Please join us again.